What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another FC25 video where today we're going to discuss what you can expect from Fantasy FC. This promo has been in the game for the last 3 years prior to this, so FIFA 22, FIFA 23 and FC 24, and honestly has been one of my favorite promos that EA have released, and it is a live promo which is absolutely fantastic and it has developed really nicely over the last few years. We're just going to take a little look today about what's to come for FC 25 and what we had in the prior FC and FIFA versions. So first of all, if you guys are enjoying the content, feel free to drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we do have, thanks to ZTM FUT, although there was quite a few people that had leaked this, this is probably, possibly, not probably, possibly just a repost. We do have the FC 25 Fantasy FC official card design, and it looks quite nice. You know, we currently have the Grassroots Great promo going on. I personally think those card designs aren't very nice. The icons are okay, the heroes are okay. The regular card designs aren't very nice. And historically, Fantasy FC has been a promo that does include regular players, obviously, and also includes heroes, but no icons, interestingly enough. I don't know if that's going to change this year necessarily. But I wanted to start with you guys this time around with what we had. So Fantasy FUT in FIFA 22, that is a hell of a mouthful, had this as the little piece of information from EA, where it says every performance counts, celebrate the late season drama of teams vying for league position and the individual displays that win matches in FIFA 22 Ultimate Team with Fantasy FUT. Fantasy FUT brings a new dimension of live dynamic item to FUT 22 with big initial boosts, and starting April 1st, so of course we are way early compared to that, the chance for players to earn up to +3 overall upgrades based on the individual contributions. And we got a big boost for the campaign launch. We'll take a look at the promo team in just a moment. And then if the player made 3 appearances in the next 5 games, they got a +1. If they got 1 win in the next 5 games, they got a +1. They did not have to appear in the game. If the club won the game, they got the upgrade. And then for an attacker or midfielder, they had to get 1 goal or an assist. And for a defender or a goalkeeper, they had to get 1 clean sheet in the next 5 games. That only counted for the league. And that was as simple as it was. So nothing crazy. There was no skill moves or weak foot. There was no roles because they didn't exist. There was no play styles because they didn't exist. And there was no traits which did exist but didn't get boosted here. So it was literally just a +1 in overalls. But if I remember correctly, and I can actually tell by some of the video titles I've got here of the boosts, typed in fantasy here, huge fantasy upgrades. The fantasy upgrades are unreal. When looking at that, the way I know that I behave with content, if it was like an 89 rated card that just got +1 to a 90 and just got +1 in all stats, that wouldn't have been very exciting. I believe that this was the year where sometimes they'd get like a +4 or +3 or +2 in certain stats, which was really, really nice. And then we look at the team, guys. So we did have, of course, 2 teams. Team 1 is right here and included Marcus Rashford. Let me know if you see any regular faces that get promo cards in this game. It included Marcus Rashford, St. Maximin whilst he was at Newcastle, Nani, who's, of course, already now retired, Jimenez, who's still at Atletico Madrid, Stones still at City, Gelson Martins, who's a silver card this year, Donny van der Beek, who is now at Girona, of course, Camavinga, Klosterman, Iñaki Williams, Jose Sarr, Odriozola, and Roussillon. And the thing to note about this team right here is not great. There's some beasts in there. Rashford, St. Max, and Nani were very, very good. I think that Gelson Martins was also very good. Camavinga was very good. But of course, he's upgradable. They could have got as much as a +3. So Rashford up to a 96. I can't recall what he actually went to in the end, but he could have got up to a 96. But when you look at like Roussillon, Odriozola, Jose Sarr, they can only get +3s to an 89, to an 89, to an 88. If that's the situation this year, I don't think people are best pleased. I do think the general base of cards this year will be somewhere around the 87 or 88 mark. But we'll get to why that doesn't really matter too much in a moment. And then we also had Team 2, which contained Ousmane Dembele, Philippe Coutinho, Anthony Martial, Gabriel Martinelli. That card was sensational. Alexandro Bamba, who of course now is going to be playing in the MLS. Sissoko, who is back at Watford, hilariously. Saucy Pedro. This isn't actually Saucy Pedro. Pedro Porro is Saucy Pedro. But Pedro, he was, for me, I think the best card. His finesse shots were something different. He had 5-star weak foot. I really enjoyed him. We got Rodrigo. Does he still play football? Damn, what a throwback that is. Atal, who always gets a card. Sirigu, Vertonghen, and Hincapié. So that was the two teams. And of course, it did give us, with these two teams, we had SBCs, we had objectives. But the way the game is this year, obviously it's a bit different this year. We've got Rush, which we didn't have back then. We've got Evos that we didn't have back then. And the situation with champs right now as well is, when you look at the champs rewards, let's go to like rank 4, we are getting one of 3 Fantasy FC or Fantasy FC hero player picks, which kind of indicates that we're not getting icons in this promo. That's absolutely fine. But we can now earn these cards from rewards, which we couldn't do before. I mean, you could if you got them in like a rare players pack or an ultimate pack. But back in champs back then, the rewards were nothing like they are now. And so getting hold of these cards is going to be a lot easier. So make sure to play your champs if you're able to get sort of like, when's the first one? 8 wins, is it? 8 wins gives 2. 7 wins will give 2. Wow. 6 wins will give 2. Wow. Fair enough, man. Even 4 wins will give 1 Fantasy FC guarantee pack. That is fully legit, to be fair. And what about the lowest rank? 2 wins. You don't get 1 for 2 wins. So all you need to be able to do, guys, is get 4 wins to get 1, or 6 or more wins to get 2. And then I think the player picks come from 9 wins. Rank 5, I believe. Yeah, so rank 5, you get the player pick. So if you're able to get 9 wins, you're doing great. 8 or 7 or 6, you're doing very good. 4, you're doing brilliantly as well. I'm not quite sure if they've changed them in Rivals rewards, because, of course, the Rivals rewards are coming out on Thursday rather than the this is an Elite Season 3 and 4 review pack, rather than the Friday for Champs. And then the other thing that we've got as well, guys, if there's some Fantasy FC players in there, if you haven't been doing this, like I haven't been, unfortunately, I've got enough time to finish it, but haven't actually, I'm not actually going to be able to do it. If you haven't been doing it, the season weekly 5 season 5 weekly play completionist at the end gives a 90 plus by 4 Future Stars Greats of the Game. Sorry, not Greats of the Game. Grassroots Greats Fantasy FC pack, and along the way you can earn some more as well. Now I've only done 1, but because of the way it works, I will be able to complete all 5. You've only done 1 now. Get the second one done before the 2 days and 21 hours, 2 days and 7 hours expires. I've nearly finished that. That will leave 19 days. So you'll be able to do 7 days, 14 days, and then there'll be about 5 days left to actually get another completion in. So if you did miss 1 set of this completion, you can still do it. If you've missed 2 already, you're done, basically. You don't have any chance. But there's great opportunity to earn some of these cards. Now, what we can expect in FC25, before we go back and look at a bit more of what we've had already, is some really cool objectives. You know, I'm sure that there'll be something to do with Rush with it. We've had the Grassroots Greats Rush content as well. I'm sure Fantasy FC will have some Rush stuff. We'll have some seasonal stuff for it, I'm sure. I mean, hey, there's already some seasonal stuff there for it. We'll have some live stuff where we get some like player objectives, and we get some, you know, like a cup or something like that would be good. And then, of course, there'll be like the standard SBCs as well, player SBCs, upgrade SBCs, pack SBCs. You know, we had the fun exchange stuff this week for the Grassroots, the Grassroots Greats, where you exchange 3 of them to get a pack for it. We'll have things like that as well. And it has been rumored, and we'll go to that in a moment, that we're going to be getting some very good evolutions for FUT Fantasy. So I'm excited for the evolutions, especially if we can take our own player and kind of like evolve them in our own way where it fits with the setup. And of course, there will always be store packs as well, guys. In general, there will always be those store packs. So that was year 1. In FIFA 23, it was a bit different. First of all, we got heroes, whereas we didn't have heroes in the first year. Second of all, the upgrades were way bigger. As you can see here, we've got the campaign launch gave the boost, as it always does. 1 win in 6 games instead of 5, get the first +1. 3 appearances to get a +1. The attacks or mids has to get 2 goals or assists in the next 6 games, and the defense and goalkeeper had to get 2 clean sheets in the next 6 games. And then there was also a +1 and 3 traits if you avoid defeat in the next 6 games. I can't remember how many players got that last boost. I don't think it was many. But this is back in a game where before we had roles and play styles, traits were starting to become really apparent in this game. I think they were always important anyway. They just weren't utilized very well because the community didn't know how important they were back in the earlier FIFAs. But in this FIFA, everybody knew you needed finesse shot play trait. You wanted Travella trait, or outside the foot shot trait, as it was called then. You wanted like the technical trait. There was a few traits. The one that gave Relentless, I can't remember what it was, but it's effectively Relentless. It's effectively what playstyles are now, just rebranded. But it was a big upgrade for these ones. And then for the heroes got a big boost at the start. If the club won one game in the next 6 games that was attached to the hero, they'd get a +1. And if they avoided defeat, they'd get a +1 and 3 new traits. And some of the heroes were absolutely banging, which you can see right here for Team 1. We got Alexis Sanchez started as a 90, Marcus Llorente, Isaac, who was already at Newcastle back then. That card was very good as well. Skriniar was in there. William Saliba, Benrahma, Fernando Dele Alli, Angelino, Trimmel, and Miller. I don't think it's showing oh, here we go, the heroes. Ruben Dish. Oh, these aren't even the heroes, are they? The reason why I say the heroes is because Eden Hazard is coming as a hero in this one's promo. Ruben Dish, Eden Hazard, Diogo Jota, Upamecano, Benasser Mitoma, DeMarcos, Emre Can, Toprak, Wimmer, and Benteke. So they are just the main cards. I don't know where we are going to see these heroes. That's interesting. But there were some brilliant cards there again. And of course, these guys got some big boosts. You know, they did end up getting some very big boosts. And then when we look at FC24, I can't actually find the page from EA Sports about FC24. But you can see, first and foremost, some of these cards became insane for what it's worth. Like, absolutely insane. This is an era as well where we did have playstyles and playstyle pluses. And so, for example, this Ousmane Dembele here ended up as a 94 rated 5-star, rapid plus, technical plus, 99 pace, 96 dribbling, an absolutely sensational card. An absolutely sensational card. Of course, it's fair to remember that this might have been a little bit further down the game cycle. I don't think it was, though. It was pre-team of the season for sure. But you could just see, again, the caliber of cards that we've got here. Dembele, Ferland Mendy again, Declan Rice again, Luis Diaz, Stanway, Rolfo, she was an SBC. Timo Werner, he was probably the most broken SBC we had up until this point at this stage in the game. Everybody had him. He was absolutely cracked. He got a fair few upgrades that were maybe a bit unexpected as well. He was banging. We got Chloe Kelly, Matthias de Ligt, Majri, Ulrich as an SBC. He was brilliant as well for what it's worth. He had a really good card. I think actually some of the pros were using his card. He was that good. 5-star, 4-star with Tech Plus and some brilliant stats there. Antoine Griezmann, Iago Aspas. This card was absolutely sensational. When Giorno was in there, Miedemar, I had her straight away because Arsenal, obviously, she's gone to City now, but had her in the team. Gacy, Chiesa, Martins. That card was brilliant. That Leaky Martins, very cheap as well. Ilkay Gundogan, Big Willie Orban, Marquinhos, Grealish, Alhanoglu, Politano. He was brilliant. He's had like a few of the best cards in the game historically as well because he had so many traits. Lacazette, Jan Bueno Couto. He's got another promo card this year again as well. Adli, Candreva, Ascaro, Matson. Some of these are objectives, some of these are SBCs, of course, but there's just so many of them. There's a bit of Saucy Pedro there as a 90 rated right back. He was brilliant as well. Marcus Acuna always gets a quality card every year. He's already had one this year as well as an objective card. But there's so many cards there, and that was just the players. If we then look at instead the fantasy heroes from this year, get rid of the regular fantasy players. We had Wesley Schneider up to a 94, Lizarazu up to a 93, Bon Pastor, Vincent Kompany, Kessler, Tevez. That was a banging card for Tevez. Power Shot Plus, Technical Plus, Lucio, Steve McManaman, Ramirez. He was absolutely cracked as well. Look at that. Extinct even now, a year later. Ricardo Carvalho SBC, that was a very good SBC. Rui Costa, Julie, who ended up getting quite a big upgrade there. Mascherano, Torre, Vola, Futre, Alex Scott, Brolin, Smolarek, and Marquisio. So loads of players, guys. Loads of heroes, loads of players last season, and loads of big upgrades. And again, when I go back to my own channel content and look at what I was saying about it, it does look like the promo itself ended with a whimper. This is how EA ended Fantasy FC. But of course, when the promo ends, the promo doesn't end because the cards still have time to get upgraded over a 6-game period. That could be like a 4, 5, 6 week period in real life, right? So we did get some more fantasy upgrades and some more, a 93 Rolfo up from a 92 there. and more fantasy upgrades. And then we ended up looking at the final fantasy upgrades where some of them were better than what Team of the Season cards were going to be. And you can see here, I was uploading this in like the middle of March. So this was still a month on from now. We are getting this promo a lot earlier compared to where we got it last year, which could specify that we're going to get something real fun somewhere else down the line this year that's a bit different, because I think this promo is brilliant and I'm happy EA have brought it forwards a little bit. And you can see I was really happy with Fantasy FC until the end. Kind of just ended on a whimper. But it looks like this promo was massively enjoyed, at least by myself. Whether or not it was enjoyed by you guys or not, I don't know. But what we have for this year is, first of all, again, the official card design. It looks cool, and I'm sure we're going to get a cosmetic to give it a little bit more of a border that will be very cool as well. But we've also got the FC promo SBC's recap. So this is from FC 24. We got Singo, Tielemans, Todibo, Herrera, Smolarek, Rolfo, that was a cracked card as well. I think she had centre mid as an option as well, a playable option. Carvalho, Buongiorno, Furyk, Julie, Scott, and Werner. And again, Werner was like so OP. A really, really strong list of SBCs. But remember some of those names. Because what we've also got here is that Fantasy FC, as for Agent says here, will include special evolutions. The only thing that I can think of when somebody says special evolutions is either allowing yourself to turn a card into a Fantasy FC card and then they get tracked by upgrades from their club. But I just think that would be unmanageable for EA, because let's say you're like a Wrexham fan and you turn someone into a Fantasy FC card. How are EA going to track every team across the whole of the game? Wins, losses, goals, assists, players, and things like that. So I don't think it's going to be that. So I'm really curious to find out and understand what special evolutions might be. It might just be like big boosts or free playstyle pluses or something like that. But overall, I'm, as somebody who kind of like finds joy at this moment in the game only through evolutions. I don't really find joy in the game like in menu grinding. I don't find it enjoying gameplay grinding. I kind of only find joy in evolutions. This excites me. I'm very interested to know what the special evolutions will be. And then ZTM Foot again here says Fantasy FC promo starting next Friday. Of course, that's meaning this coming Friday now. These are the top SBCs we got last year during the promo. Who are we getting this year? And I did have a little note there of what was expected to come this year. But I guess I don't anymore. The only player that we do know is coming is going to be the leaked team of the week. We'll get to that in a second. Is going to be Kirby. Maybe AC Foot has deleted the tweet. I saw Eden Hazard. Maybe it wasn't on AC's profile, but I saw Eden Hazard was coming. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone from everywhere that I saw it. That's really interesting. That is really interesting. Well, maybe we're getting an Eden Hazard, maybe we're not. But what we will be getting is a whole bunch of players, most likely from anywhere across the league, but most likely from like the premium clubs, So we'll probably get a Liverpool player, an Arsenal player, a City player, a Chelsea player, maybe a Newcastle or a Villa player, potentially a Spurs and a Man United player as well. It would be interesting to get like a Chris Wood, a massively upgraded Wood card, or, a Murillo or something like that from Forest would be quite fun. But ultimately, because this is to do with like the domestic campaign, I can't imagine that they're going to give, for example, a Southampton player, because the likelihood of Southampton fulfilling any/many of the obligations is going to be pretty low. Manchester United, Spurs, Palace, maybe we could see it. Brentford, maybe we could see it. Villa and Newcastle definitely could. Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Liverpool definitely could. Bournemouth, Forest possibly could. But there's going to be a whole host of players. And if there's two teams like there has been previously, which I presume there will be, and again, when we look at the amount of players that was actually here, get outside of the heroes, just the base players, there is a lot of players here. There's a lot of players. So there's going to be a good chance that you're going to get someone that suits you, even if that's just for a past and present rather than for your current team. And then outside of that, guys, that is all we can expect for Fantasy FUT. So it is a live promo tied to real world football. I wish EA did this a lot more. I know they do it from time to time. You know, sometimes they do it with like the road to the knockouts where it's a player tied to a club. I really like it when the actual player has to do something, whether that just be play, get a clean sheet, or goals or assists. That's way more exciting because then you can actually follow that player and you get connected to that player a bit more in real life. Which for me, at least, I don't know if this happens for you guys, but if I get connected to that player a little bit more in real life, I get connected to that player a lot more in game. And it makes me would like I was playing players last year that were way below the level of players I had in my club because I just felt an attachment to them because they had done something for me in real life by scoring a goal or getting a clean sheet. And so that was always quite fun. Wow, Cezinha's hair, that's crazy. So the team of the week, though, just to end off with for today, I suppose, we've got Diani, Edison, Berenstein, Shaw, Tar, James, Struik, Minamino, and Cezinha with the star team of the weeks. Really sad that Cezinha's got the featured team of the week. And I say that just because he's had some of the best Evos this year. And a lot of those Evos are now going to be absolutely crushed by the fact that he's getting a team of the week there. Atto Marino, beautiful. As a striker, I hope. He's not there. Juanlu, Masaras, Mark Roca, Stoicha, Conceição, Fleur, Duran, Allen, Bentaleb, Minte, Mortensen, and Giao Duani. So that is all I've got for you, though, so far today, guys. All I've got for you on Fantasy FC. This, for me, is and was one of my favorite promos over the last few years. There's a lot of the promos at the moment that are good, not great, but there's a lot of promos at the moment that are becoming great. You know, Thunderstruck / Black Friday promo has been brilliant 2 years in a row now. I thought Team of the Year was somewhat decent this year as well. FUT Birthday is always a banging promo. Future Stars, I thought this year was actually a little bit like underwhelming personally, even though Future Stars I've generally enjoyed over the years. But Fantasy FUT, there has never been a year since it's existed, I suppose, because this is only its 4th year. There's never been a year for me where Fantasy FUT has under-delivered. It's always been a brilliant promo. And so for that reason, I am massively looking forward to Friday and what EA are going to give us during this promo. But for today, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.